All right, let's talk about a huge mistake that so many companies make. It costs them a ton of money and honestly leaves a lot of employees super frustrated. And it all comes down to confusing two little things, a job analysis and a job description. Getting this right, well, that's kind of the secret sauce for building a team that actually works.
You know that feeling, right? You're scrolling through job postings and you see something like growth hacking ninja. And you just kind of stop and think, what does that even mean? Like, what do they actually do all day? Well, you're definitely not alone. And this isn't just about silly job titles. It's actually a huge red flag pointing to a much bigger problem in how companies think about roles.
And look, this isn't just a headache for people trying to find a job. For the company itself, a vague, confusing role is like a ticking time bomb. Seriously, you end up attracting people who are a terrible fit, you set completely wrong expectations from day one, and more often than not, you end up with a really expensive bad hire. It's just a lose-lose for everybody.
So what's really going on here? The root of the problem is that we rush. We jump straight to writing the job ad, the shiny document we post online, before we've even done the real work of figuring out what the job is. It's like trying to build a house by just starting to nail boards together without an architect's blueprint. It's never going to work. So how do we fix this? How do we build that foundation?
Well, the answer starts with a step that happens completely behind the scenes. It's something most people never even hear about, but honestly, it's the single most important part of the entire hiring process. It's called job analysis.
Yeah, I know, systematic process sounds super boring and corporate, right? But forget that. Let's think of it a different way. You're basically playing detective. Your whole mission is to uncover the real nitty-gritty truth about a job. What does someone in this role actually do from 9 to 5? What skills are an absolute must-have? And how does this one piece fit into the whole company puzzle?
So if you remember one thing, remember this. Job analysis is the detective work. Think about it. A real detective doesn't just show up and guess who did it. No way. They have to investigate the scene, they have to interview all the witnesses, they have to collect hard, cold evidence. And that's exactly what you're doing here, but for a job role.
Okay, so how does this detective work actually play out? It's not about just guessing. It's a real process. You're out there on the floor watching what the best people in that role are doing. You're interviewing the folks who know it inside and out, the managers, the top performers. You're collecting real data on what tasks they do and what success looks like. It's only after you've gathered all of that intel that you can piece it all together to build a complete, accurate profile of the role.
All right, so our detective has done all the legwork. The case file is thick with evidence. Now, and only now, are we ready to move on. Now we can finally create that document that everyone else is going to see. And this, my friends, is where the job description finally enters the picture.
And this is the thing we're all familiar with, right? It's the job ad you see on LinkedIn. It's that posting on the company's career page. It's the official, public-facing summary of all that incredible detective work we just did.
So let's go back to our analogies. If the analysis was the detective's case file, just packed with all the facts and evidence, then the job description is the architect's final blueprint. And I mean, final. This isn't some quick sketch on a napkin. It's a detailed, precise plan that lays out exactly what you're trying to build.
And just like a real architect's blueprint, it has very specific, very important sections. You've got a clear, accurate job title, and please, no more ninjas or gurus. You've got a short summary, a clear list of what they'll be responsible for, and exactly what skills and qualifications they need. And here's the most important part. Every single word on that blueprint comes directly from the evidence our detective found during the analysis. Nothing is made up. Okay, so we have our two key players, the detective and the architect. They're on the same team, for sure, but they have totally different jobs. So let's put them side by side, a real showdown, to make sure this difference is absolutely crystal clear. This chart just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? Just look at the purpose. The analysis, our detective, is all about investigating internally. The description, our architect's blueprint, is all about communicating externally. And the timing is everything. The analysis happens way before a job is ever posted. The description only gets created from that analysis, and it's built for a totally different audience, all those potential candidates out there.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is all a bit HR-y, isn't it? And yeah, it is a lot of behind-the-scenes work. But skipping that first step, the detective work, has huge, real-world consequences for everyone. So let's flip it around and talk about the massive payoff when you actually get this right.
For any manager out there, the difference is just massive. You stop gambling, hoping you find someone for a fuzzy, poorly defined role. Instead, you're making a strategic move,
hiring the exact person with the exact skills you need to solve a very specific problem. The result? Way better performance, and let's be honest, a whole lot less frustration for you.
And if you're the one looking for a job, oh, this is a total game changer. It means you can actually read a job description and trust it. The expectations are clear from the get-go, so you can make a genuinely smart decision about your career, and you can avoid that awful sinking feeling a few months into a new job when you realize, wait a minute, this is not at all what I signed up for.
And let's zoom out to the whole company. This goes way beyond just hiring one person. This is about building a rock-solid foundation for the entire organization. When every single person's role is clearly defined and understood, you get a team that's truly aligned. They're more effective, and they're free from all that internal confusion and chaos that absolutely kills progress.
So, I want to leave you with this one last thought. We live in a world where things like AI are changing the nature of work, like every single day. In that kind of world, this detective work we talked about, the job analysis, it becomes more critical than ever before. It's no longer just about understanding the jobs we have right now. It becomes about strategically designing the jobs we're going to need to win in the future.